Good evening and welcome to the Wednesday, June 14th, 2023 millage rate public hearing. And that is exactly what we do. We listen to you. We'll begin the meeting with a presentation from Ms. Page. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moss. Tonight, we are having a public hearing on the millage rate. We had our first public hearing this morning on June 14th at 11 a.m. This is our second public hearing at 6 p.m. And we will have our third and final hearing next Wednesday, June 21st at 5 p.m. In 1999, the Georgia General Assembly passed the Taxpayer Bill of Rights with the intent to prevent what was referred to as a backdoor tax increases. The Taxpayer Bill of Rights and rules were developed by the Georgia Department of Revenue to implement this legislation to establish a process that all local government jurisdictions, counties, cities, and boards of education must follow. This process ensures full disclosure to the public for any increases, including increases that result from value inflation. The Taxpayer Bill of Rights was established to notify the public about inflationary increases to existing property values at the local government level. It also enhanced individual property owners' rights when objecting to and appealing an increase in a property's appraised value to the County Board of Assessors. According to the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, each taxing jurisdiction must roll back or reduce the millage rate each year to offset any inflationary increases in the tax digest. If the county or other governing authority elects to set their millage rate higher than the rollback rate, then they must follow certain requirements to notify the public that taxes are being increased. The public notification process includes 3 public hearings, public notices of the increase in the local newspaper, and press releases. Each year, the Chatham County Board of Assessors establishes the taxable value of all property in the county and publishes the certified tax digest for each taxing jurisdiction. The Board of Education has 2 separate taxing jurisdictions and therefore receives 2 separate tax digests. One for maintenance and operations and another for bond indebtedness. Each of these 2 taxing jurisdictions has its own millage rate, which is determined by the board. Taxable values exist for 6 types of property: real property, personal property, vehicles, mobile homes, timber, and heavy-duty equipment. Digest values for both jurisdictions are shown on the chart. The current digest amounts and the amounts for the last 5 years were published in the local newspaper as required by law. Sometimes, when assessed property values go up, homeowners will pay more taxes even when the school district millage rate remains unchanged or is lowered. Even though the millage rate has not gone up, taxpayers may see increased cost. This is because the value of their property has increased. In the chart presented, the red line represents the millage rate. The millage rate in the example is unchanged. As the property value increases in year 2, the higher tax liability is a result of increased property values. For fiscal year 2024, Savannah-Chatham County Public School System recommends no change in the current millage rate of 17.631 mils. Changes in the digest value of real property, one of the 6 types of property, can take 2 forms: new construction, or reassessment of existing property. Once the assessors establish the taxable value of real property, they calculate the millage equivalent of any reassessments, subtract it from last year's millage rate, and the result becomes the rollback rate. This millage equivalent is determined by taking the value of reassessments divided by the total digest and multiplying the result by last year's millage rate. This calculation is shown on the slide. The tentative millage rate adopted by the Board of Education for maintenance and operations exceeds the rollback rate. Here you see the 17.631 mills remains the same in the two millage rates from last year to the initial tentative rate for 2023, fiscal year 2024. Calculation of school taxes on a home valued at $250,000 with only the state regular homestead exemption is shown on slide 7. This slide shows an example of a property tax bill in which the property value increases using the recommended millage of 17.631 mills. The total estimated tax is $2,302.42. On slide 9, this is an example of a property tax bill in which the property value does not change using the 17.631 mills. The total estimated tax is $2,146.86. Slide 10 shows an example of a property tax bill in which the property value decreases using the recommended millage of 17.631 mills. The total estimated tax is $1,982.95. This concludes the presentation on the millage rate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we will now hear, this is a public hearing, and we're here to listen to you. We'll hear from, anyone signed up? Do we have anyone who would like to speak? Okay. I will accept a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn this public hearing.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Thank you very much.